Welcome to Well Body. I'm Renee, your host, and this is the podcast for everything your body needs as a woman to become healthier and fitter effortlessly. Here, we're all about feeling energized, beautiful, strong, and going from zero to thriving. Let's ditch the Fitspo diet culture once and for all and start living your best life with methods that actually make real lasting changes. It's time to embrace the journey to a well body holistically. Let's dive in together. Hello and welcome back to the Well Body podcast. I'm so excited to have you here on my show and thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Today's podcast is actually about why I gave up alcohol and how it actually really transformed and changed my life. I want to share my journey of giving up alcohol and how it has positively impacted my life, because I know for a fact that there are a lot of other people in the same shoes as me right now who are thinking about giving up, wanting to give up, but finding it hard, or feeling socially pressured to continue to drink. This episode is for anyone considering making a similar change, offering both my personal experience and also some practical advice for those struggling with the decision. I began drinking socially in my late teens, as I'm sure a lot of Kiwis did, and Australians too. Unfortunately, it seems to be something that is so embedded in our culture. We've grown up seeing our parents drink, our grandparents drink. Every single celebration or occasion seems to be associated around alcohol. And this is something that is just, it's in our world, it's everywhere. It's marketed to you to be this glamorous thing, this way of having fun. And yeah, I definitely did have some fun, but as I moved into my health journey more so and studied more and understood things a lot more, my relationship with alcohol definitely changed. I noticed though in my early 20s, it was definitely a part of my lifestyle, especially during social gatherings, to unwind or to celebrate. Every Friday night it would be like, oh, whose house are we going to have a few drinks after uni or after work or whatever it was. And over time I noticed it actually became more of a crutch for stress as well and social anxiety rather than just the occasional indulgence. Getting drunk was literally the only way sometimes you felt as though you could fit in with everyone else, or the only way you felt as though you could truly be yourself. And this started to come with a lot of anxiety for me personally, not to mention the feeling of like the next day, but not even the next day, like the next 4 days. It would take so long to feel normal again that by the time you started feeling normal again, you'd get back into normal life and doing your usual routines, and then you go back to drinking again. And it's just like this complete cycle of just drinking, thinking it's the only way you can have fun. And I'm living proof now that I can totally have the best time without a single drop. And it just becomes like the norm. And I honestly think that I personally felt like the feeling of feeling like shit became so normal that it almost forgot what it felt like to feel good. And I think the turning point for me came when I realized how alcohol was affecting my health, my productivity, and also my emotional well-being. You know, I found myself lacking energy, experiencing mood swings, and struggling to stay focused on my goals, and I knew that something had to give. When I first decided that I wanted to start limiting the amount of alcohol that I was drinking, it was more just about special occasions, so like a friend's hen's do or a birthday. But now I've even reduced that to not even that. Like I went to a hen's do and was sober, and that felt amazing. I've been to birthdays and not drunk, and it felt amazing. I went to Fiji and I had one cocktail the whole entire time. It did nothing for me. It just tasted like sweet, syrupy yuck. That's probably the best way to explain it. I didn't even enjoy it. And I think I've had like one gin because everyone else was having a drink, and I was like, oh, I actually feel like having one, and it just really did nothing for me. I really just felt like I was having soda water. So I don't even miss having those nights out where I'm drinking. I've got a lot of events coming up soon, and I honestly think I will stay sober as well. I just feel better for it, emotionally, massively. Like I didn't realize how much alcohol was affecting my mental health until I stopped, because I would feel hungover the next day And then I would start to feel anxious about the things that I wasn't doing or wasn't achieving, or I would start to feel anxious about all the nights out that I had, out drinking with friends, but no time spent on the things that I really wanted in life. And I feel as though, and no regrets, right? Like, everything happens for a reason, and everything we do, it's such an opportunity to learn from. And I feel as though I needed to go through all that so I could help others, especially in the health and well-being space. But I just felt as though, I wasn't living up to my values, and I wasn't living in my truth. When I was a teenager, I actually really hated drinking. Like, I didn't like fizzy drink as a kid. And I had to really force myself to like alcohol, because I don't like fizzy drinks. I don't like bubbly water. I really don't enjoy it. Even kombucha, like, I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it all the time, because I just don't like too much bubbles, too much fizz, it just doesn't, I just never have really enjoyed it. As a kid, my mum would always have to say to the parents at the birthday party, oh, can you make sure she has water? She doesn't like juice, and she doesn't like fizzy drink. I was one of those kids who just didn't like a lot. So I really had to force myself to like it. And I even had the nickname as a teenager, Nana, because I was like the Nana, which I don't care. Like, that was funny. And it was kind of cool when I look back, being the one who wasn't really into it. But then I got into it because everyone else was, and I felt as though it was the normal thing to do in New Zealand as a teenager. My parents did it, and, my friends all did it, so why shouldn't I? So I think that pressure just continues on throughout your teens into your early 20s, and then when you go to uni, there's like uni parties and everyone's drinking. Like, it's everywhere. It's so embedded in our culture. It's everywhere. It's really hard to get away from. And I think when I fell pregnant with my second child, I really, obviously you don't drink when you're pregnant, but I really just felt as though that this was my next kind of turning point to completely going sober and just enjoying events sober. And I think from the time that I had Mason till now, I think I've only had like 10, and he's 3 now, 10 occasions where I've had drinks. And that's such a liberating feeling. And in the last year, it's probably only been about maybe 3 occasions where I've had one drink. But I really don't see myself even having that one drink anymore if I'm at a special occasion or if I feel like it. Like, I really don't. And I'm so excited for like my future because of the extra productivity and hours and energy that I have gained and will continue gaining, because I look back and look at how much time, energy I lost from feeling anxious afterwards, from feeling hungover, from spending hours standing around drinking and hearing the same conversation over and over and over again. And with drinking, sometimes in this culture that we have in New Zealand and Australia, comes other things as well. And I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about when I say other things. So alcohol is not just it always leads to more in this country. Now, a lot of people can turn around and say, no, I can have a couple of drinks and not lead to other things. But unfortunately, for 70 to 80% of people, it does. So I decided to quit because I wanted to regain control over my life and align my decisions with my long-term health goals and my business goals. And alcohol was no longer serving me, but rather I felt, for me personally, was holding me back. I also wanted to be a better role model for those around me. Being in the health and wellness space, we do have a recommended daily intake for alcohol in the nutrition space. And that's 3 standard drinks for women, 5 standard drinks for men across the week. But do we do that in this country? No. People have 12 or 24 cans in a weekend, which is massively exceeding the recommended daily intake. And that comes with a lot of health risks. And as a health professional, you know these health risks. So it really makes you see things a lot deeper. I'm like this with processed foods. And when I see kids drinking cans of Fanta and Coke, I cringe because I know what it's doing to their insides. And I can't help it. But that's because I've studied nutrition and I've learned so much about this stuff to the point that I just can't anymore. You kind of see everything for what it is when you understand the science behind everything. So it was no longer serving me. It was really holding me back, and I wanted to be a better health professional and a better role model. So I really felt so just happy and aligned with the decision that I made when I decided to quit. So the process of quitting for sure is not easy, but I literally took it step by step. And I must say there was a lot of anger that came with the starting to give it up, because you just get angry at the fact that it's not that you can't have it because you're making that decision and it's a value. It's just for some reason I felt so much anger at the start. I think it was like anger to the fact of, I don't know, maybe it was like people getting wasted around me. Maybe it was just that I've made this decision and people kept on kind of coming at me going, oh, come on, the old Renee would have. Just have one, like little things like that. And I just got quite angry on the inside. So it definitely wasn't easy at the start. But I just started reducing my intake, literally just having like one or two and just topping up my drinks with water to start with, because if I was out at social events and things like that, it just was easier mentally not to have to deal with the comments. And then just replacing social drinking with healthier alternatives like a mocktail or a non-alcoholic beverage. And there are plenty of beautiful mocktails that you can make that are healthy and low calorie, and non-alcoholic beverages too, of course. I also did a lot of like journaling and meditation, which also helped me to stay focused on my reasons for quitting. So it's really important to understand your why for your reasons. And I had so many reasons why as to why alcohol didn't align with me. The main reason was probably because I used to drink to fit in, well, what I thought I had to do anyway. I thought I had to fit in with everyone else, so I did drink. But what I realized now is that I don't need to fit into anyone's box. I don't need to fit into anyone's way of living. I don't need to fit into anyone's preference of friendship either. If someone doesn't like me for who I am, then that's okay. I don't care. At the end of the day, the people that are meant to be in my life are meant to be in my life for a reason. And the people who love me for who I am, love me for who I am. And that's awesome. People who don't, that's okay. They're not my people. And I think that's the really important thing to remember, is that not everyone is going to be your cup of tea, and you're not put on this world to be liked by everyone. And it's a really hard job to try and be liked by everyone. Be respected, absolutely. Be respectful, absolutely. But to be liked by everyone is such a lot. It's like a wasted energy. Like focus on you. Focus on what you want. Don't waste your energy trying to fit in with everyone else and try to fit into the category of society, because it's shit and it's hard work and it's so energy taxing. So I had so many reasons why I wanted to give up alcohol, and I feel so content with those reasons. And I will never go back to I will never have a big night ever again. Never. Do you know what I mean? Because it just doesn't align with who I am and my values anymore. Now, since I've stopped drinking alcohol, I've experienced clearer mental clarity. And in 2022, at the end of that year, my goal was to have more brain power for 2023. And I've definitely seen a massive shift in my ability to remember, and my ability to absorb, and my ability to comprehend things that I'm trying to get out of my head. Because sometimes I find it really hard to express what I'm really truly trying to say, which is why I can get in my head about posting content sometimes, because I'm like, oh, did that make sense? Did that sound how I wanted it to sound? Sometimes I just find like it's in my head and it sounds incredible. And then when I get it out, it's not quite how I thought it was going to be. So I get in my head about it sometimes. But since limiting my alcohol intake basically to 0, my brain power is insane. Like, it's so much better. My mental clarity is so much better. I feel as though I have such a clear direction as to where I'm heading in life, and that's awesome. My physical health has been the best it's ever been. I didn't actually give up alcohol because of the high calories, because of the sugar, because of all of that. I gave it up because of more so like how I was feeling in my head and how I was feeling emotionally. But physically, it's made a massive difference to my muscle gains, which is awesome for my overall health and well-being and my bones. It's also improved my relationships, because I've been able to create relationships with people on a deeper level that doesn't involve alcohol, and I've been able to also create new relationships that are really valuable and amazing for my network. So that's been really cool. And my productivity is insanely higher. I was always a hard worker, but I'm like a hard worker tenfold now, because of the productivity and the time that I have gained from not socializing with drinks as much. And it's amazing. I feel more present in my daily life, and I feel more emotionally balanced, which is huge. So life without alcohol has been transformative, and it has been just so incredibly impactful in my life. And no, it's not easy. And yes, there's a lot of social pressures, and there's a lot of things that you have to deal with, but you will get there. It just takes time. You just have to trust the process. Like everything on your health journey, you have to trust the process and know that you're doing it for you. and keep remembering your reasons why, and setting clear boundaries with people as well. If someone's giving you shit for not drinking, just politely turn around and say to them, hey, look, this doesn't align with me right now, and by you pressuring me socially is making me feel worse, and I'm actually going to leave this event if you continue to pressure me. Or if you wouldn't mind just not talking to me at all about it, that would be fantastic. Like, just set boundaries with people. People are always shocked when you tell them the truth and set a boundary, but it is one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself. At the end of the day, you're doing this for you, and you've got to protect yourself. Forget about everyone else. So, of course, being a health and wellbeing podcast, I want to share with you some health facts and risks for women when we drink alcohol. So even moderate alcohol consumption, as little as 1 standard drink per day, has been linked to a 14% increased risk of breast cancer, according to the American Cancer Society. Alcohol can disrupt your hormone balance by increasing estrogen levels, which may contribute to fertility issues. It's also going to cause, and can cause, not for everyone, but can do, irregular menstrual cycles. Regular alcohol intake can also put a lot of stress and strain on the liver, which can lead to conditions like fatty liver disease. And this can happen to people who drink moderately. And fatty liver disease is not something you want to be dealing with. And it does happen to a lot of women as they start to come into perimenopause and menopause. So be really mindful of how much you're drinking when you are in that phase of your life, because you pose more of a risk than teenagers and younger people do. Alcohol impairs your immune function, making the body more susceptible to infections and reducing its ability to even recover from illness. So if you're sick and you continue drinking, you're going to find it really hard to get well quick, okay? And the myth of 1 glass of red wine a day being healthy has been totally debunked. The antioxidant benefits often cited can be obtained more effectively from eating whole foods like grapes, berries, or dark leafy greens without the added risks of alcohol. So I'd love to smash that myth in the park, because 1 glass of red wine a day is not going to give you the antioxidant benefits that actually just eating whole foods can. And also, alcohol can negatively affect mental health, which I think for most Kiwis and Australians, and the reason I'm pinpointing out Kiwis and Australians is because that's my main audience, and because I'm from that side of the world, and we are quite similar with our culture in terms of like drinking and things like that. And I know for a fact that mental health issues are at an all-time high, and alcohol will negatively affect mental health. And it is contributing to increased rates of anxiety and depression, particularly in women due to hormonal fluctuations. So I really want to just give you some key takeaways from sharing my story about my journey to quitting drinking. And that would be, number 1 is identifying your why for quitting. You know, it's important to have a why for every health goal that you set for yourself. So ultimately, the first thing you need to do is set your intention, your reason why you're quitting. And then you need to make sure that you're aligning with that why to your values. If you haven't done your values, I really encourage you to set your values and know what your values are, so you know what you're living by, and you have an expectation, you know, with your decision making based on your values, and then so everything aligns. So identifying your why for quitting, and replace drinking with positive habits, whether that's an exercise class or going out on a Friday with a few friends, but not having any drinks because you know that on Saturday morning you've booked yourself an exercise session in. Do you know? So set yourself little intentions and little positive habits that replace the negative drinking habits. Seek support from communities and friends who respect your choice. Chat to friends who you genuinely know will have your back and align with you. With your decision making. I found it really hard myself because, you know, I don't know why. I never really reached out to anyone about it, but I feel as though if I had my time again, I definitely would have reached out for a little bit more support from my community. And, you know, my friends were definitely supportive of it. I'm not saying they weren't, but I didn't reach out and talk about it enough as to my reasons why I wasn't coming out anymore, my reasons why I was saying no to a lot of social events, my reasons why that I gave up. So I would suggest you do seek some support from some communities or friends, or even, your health and wellbeing coach that are there to guide you and respect your choice and your decisions. And also practicing self-compassion during difficult moments. So just not being too hard on yourself, eliminating any guilt or shame that you feel, and just really getting good at practicing self-compassion. So here are some tips for social situations. First tip is just bring your own non-alcoholic drinks. That way you don't have to drink any alcohol. If someone offers you a drink, you say, no thanks, I've got my own, and there might be some kind of non-alcoholic one. People are not going to sit there and read the label, and if they do, well, that's a bit intense. But even just having that 1 or 2 non-alcoholic drinks in your hands might stop someone from going, why aren't you drinking? Use a polite decline, like, hey, no thank you, I'm focusing on my health, or just setting a clear boundary. Hang out with supportive friends and share your decision in advance so they support you and they're not going to disempower you based on your decision and your why, because unfortunately our environment and our friends have a massive impact on our decision making. So you really need to evaluate your environment, and if your environment is not supportive and your environment is not uplifting and your environment is not supportive of your decisions in life, you need to change that. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck and nothing is going to change, okay? And also remember, you do not owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your well-being. You do not even have to give someone an answer or a reason why. Just do you. You don't, like if you don't want to go to an event, you don't even have to give someone a reason. But we live in this culture where we feel as though we have to justify every single decision we make. No, sorry, I can't come because da-da-da-da-da-da. No, just say no thanks. Like, you do not need to give people explanations for anything and any decision that you make. That is your birthright. It's your life. Make your decisions based on what you want and just do you. So I hope that has helped you, and thank you for listening to my story. If you're considering giving up alcohol, remember you're not alone. There are a lot of people out there with these thoughts and feelings. Some people haven't taken action on it yet. Some people have. Some people are in the midst of their journey. There are a lot of people that are on this pathway, and I really hope that in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, alcohol is less in our environment and people are more empowered by doing experiences in life. I feel like drinking is just... it really just holds us back from living our true potential. That's what I've learned anyway. So feel free to reach out and share this episode with anyone who might benefit. Your health and happiness is what matters the most. Set that why. Remember why it's important for you. Stay true to what you believe in, and remember to just hang in there. You can do it. Yes, it's going to feel hard. Yes, it's going to feel difficult. And yes, it's going to feel quite pressury at times. Just remember who you are and what you want. Set those values, align your decision making with your values, and remember you're doing this because it's for you. Thank you so much for listening to the Well Body podcast. I hope you gained some insightful, helpful tips in this podcast. Hopefully my story is relatable. I'm sure it is to a lot of Kiwis and Australians listening to this podcast today, or whenever it is that you're listening to it. I really hope that you are enjoying every episode that you've listened to so far on the Well Body podcast. If you're new around here, please head over to my channel, my episode channel, and flick through a few more helpful podcasts that may help you on your health and wellbeing journey. And remember, as always, feel free to reach out if you are trying to get on track with your health and wellbeing. But for now, have a great day, evening, morning, whenever it is that you're listening to this podcast, and I look forward to having you join me in my next episode.